Hello and welcome back to Road to Rank 1. Today we're going to be playing some Amber Sapphire. Personally, I think this deck is really good. It's definitely one of those decks that no one's playing, but people should be. I'll throw the list up on screen now. This is the 60 from Snapcaster over at the Masters of Lorcana Discord, which I'll leave in the description. And they've climbed to, I think, like rank 2 with this list. Just change the settings a little bit. I think they climbed to like rank 2 with this list, so you know, very good list. And I played this before in a deck guide, and I did very well with it. And I think this is honestly like top 4, maybe even top 3 deck. I'll be making a tier list video very soon as well, and I'll go over some of my takes on what I think are the best decks in the game. So we're still in wood here, so it looks like the opponent's playing like a starter deck, so this should be a quick one. We're almost out of kind of the super mega low elos, so I'm excited to kind of get out of that stage, to be honest. Do I even really need to go into grammar this game? I feel like if I could just go... Yeah, we can just kind of play mid-range kind of game style with this deck, so you can ramp a lot of the time, but I think just going like the curve of like Amber and Sapphire is just really good. And you have the card draw from the Rapunzel and the Stitch. This Stitch, I don't know why I don't see it anywhere. It's such a fantastic card. But yeah, this deck needs to get more traction, so I thought I'd play it. I might even play this in the next episode, to be honest. I'm thinking of maybe even making this series a daily series, just because we have to get through a lot of games, and I'm not sure if we have time to do it once every couple of days, if that makes sense. So we could probably ink this for the CTs again. We're actually falling a little bit behind, but you know, I'm not too worried, we're pretty good. I will just ramp with this Mickey and pass. And then next turn I can draw 2 with the Rapunzel. I'll just hit into either of these guys. And then yeah, we should be golden from there, so we can go turn 4 Rapunzel, turn 5 we can let it go if they play a big unit. And then, okay, they're just going to bounce it again, it's fine. Yeah, but I'm not really doing much. Like I say, we should go through this. Hopefully in this episode we can get to bronze. I know rank 1 is pretty scarily high at the moment. Like I say a lot of the time as well, I'm not like 100% sure like rank 1 is definitely the end goal, but I just want to see how high I can get really, and any informational content I feel like is good for this stage of the game. So we could probably go ahead and ink this Simba here. And then we can honestly just go into this Maleficent. And then we can start trading units, and then we can just set up some good draw with Rapunzel. That's why this Maleficent's quite good, because it has like high health, so there's a lot of stuff in this deck. Because it has high health, you can use the Rapunzel to draw a lot of cards. Opponent is already at 7 though, which is quite scary. So I will go ahead and hit into the LeFou. And then I, of course, want to draw my cards before you ink, because then you make sure that you ink the card that you need the least. So probably be our guest in this case. Could have inked something else and then played to be our guest, but I'm not too worried. Our hand looks pretty healthy. And then next time we can go into the Stitch and draw 2 more cards. So you know, obviously the opponent's not really doing much, but just showing you kind of the amount of card draw and like board control that this deck has. Okay, Dragonfire is fine. I might even just go for... might go for 2 Mickeys here and just like turbo ramp. Okay, or we can just drop Maleficent maybe, or I can go I'm gonna ink his Eye of Fates, feel like we're not gonna need it. And then I will just go for 2 Mickeys and I'll quest with the Rapunzel. And the next time we can be at 10 ink, so we can play Stitch and Maximus. We can play Maximus, just give this Duke 0 attack and then just hit 2 Mickeys into it. Play Stitch, quest with the Rapunzel for 2, and then we're looking quite good. We've fallen quite far behind in the other game, but like obviously you can see we have complete control even from the start. Just those 2 early bounces were a bit annoying. Yeah, so this should be a nice easy win to start the episode off. There should be like, if you look on the little scroll thing on the video, there should be different games, so if you did want to skip this one, it's totally fine. I do not blame you at all. And go on to the next one. Hopefully relatively soon. Wow, Stampede! Hopefully relatively soon we can start looking at like some more competitive games and maybe like longer games with like mirror matches and stuff like that. So we find out Eye of Fates, we're not going to need it in this matchup at all. And then I think going Stitch is fine. We'll hit one of the Mickeys into the Duke and then we'll just quest. And then the game should be over relatively soon. So yeah, like I say, this deck is really good and I don't know why no one's necessarily playing it. I think actually I'll save my predictions for what I think are the best decks for the tier list video. But yeah, I feel like we've come to a stage now in the game where people are kind of figuring out what's the best, what works and what doesn't. And it seems like this deck works fantastically, as well as obviously the Amethyst Ruby list that we see. I'm just gonna vomit my hand onto the board here. There's no real need to quest, to ink, sorry, and I'll just quest with everything. Then next time we can draw cards with Rapunzel. If they play a big card, we can just haze it. You know, the usual mid-range kind of play style of controlling the board and winning the game quite quickly. So yeah, like I say, I think we get to bronze after this game. So that's good. And then, yeah, I'm also thinking 5 games an episode isn't really enough. I'm thinking if I make this series daily, so there's the win. We'll talk more about that in a second. Bronze 5 finally, and let's go to the next game. Okay, cool, so game 2 going first. Looks like we got a pretty good start. But yeah, like I was saying, I was thinking I'm going to make them really long videos, or I will do one a day, very soon at least. I think I can keep this, and this gives me a lot of options. So I can play a defensive turn 2 with Simba, an aggressive turn 2 with Felicities, or like a ramp turn 2 with Grammar. So we'll get rid of one of the Felicities and just pass. And then we do kind of want to get a 1-drop Stitch. If I can get a 1-drop Stitch, and then turn 3 I can go, so turn 2 I can go Grammar, and then turn 3 I can go Simba and Stitch, and then turn 4 I can shift into the Rockstar Stitch, and then go from there. So it's here Mad Hat, so we're against Emerald. Okay, so I can probably ink so I'm going to assume we're against aggro, so I think we can ink Eye of Fates here. And then I can go Grammar. And then, depending on what they play, I can play either Felicities or Simba, but I think it'd probably be Felicities at the moment. We have no real use for Maximus on turn 3 because it gets rid of attack, and obviously we want Grammar to banish itself to go to the Inkwell for us. And then yeah, we have a very nice curve of a 2-drop and then the Rapunzel if we take some damage. Nothing really has a lot of health out of these two. Obviously the Felicities and the Grammar have 1 health, so that's not too good. Okay, so it looks like we're against Amethyst. The opponent took a while there to ink some brooms. So let's see what they play now. Probably okay, cool, so we're against Amethyst Emerald. So we can definitely go for a Felicities here. I don't think we're going to need this Simba anytime soon. And then we can just quest with this. And then obviously we're not going to hit the Scammer into the fling because we don't want to discard like 2 cards. If I can deal with just discarding 1, I will just discard 1. So the Pascal inked. So the kind of game plan against like aggro decks is you don't really want to, you just want to control the board basically, as simple as that sounds. You just want to let them run out of steam, and then you just kind of slowly win the game through that way. We can ink one of these Let It Goes, and then we can discard a Let It Go. Yeah, that sounds fine to me. And then we can just drop Maximus. We don't care about losing the attack, we just want the body on the board. and then we can quest with the Grammar. So we can kind of keep up in questing as well as controlling the board, and that's kind of our game plan. So if they quest with the Duke, we can hit in the Maximus and then draw 2 cards with Rapunzel, kind of refill our hand that way. And yeah, hopefully we can go into this Rockstar Stitch. It's a really strong turn 4 play, but obviously you need to find the 1-drop Stitch first. And if you can get on turn 4, then you can just like really outpace any opponent really. So definitely, again, just the Stitch cards kind of being underrated, but not really underrated. Everyone knows they're good, but you know, no one's playing it for whatever reason. I think everyone's just on the control hype or trying to beat control of the like evasive aggro kind of deck lists. But I think Amber will definitely become meta at some point, either in this set or the next set, because they just have so much like utility and like tempo that, you know, a lot of decks can't deal with it. So opponent's going to spend all their ink to draw some cards, which is great. So that means I can definitely get 2 draws for this Rapunzel. Okay, so they have the Pascal, which is basically perma evasive, so that's going to be slightly annoying to deal with, but you know, we have ways to deal with it for sure. Okay, so there's Stitch, so I can play the Rapunzel to draw the 2 cards here. Okay, cool, so we can ink one of these Rockstar Stitches, I think. Actually, we can ink this, no, we'll ink a Rockstar Stitch, and next time we'll ink another card, play Rockstar Stitch, and then we can start using the 1-drops. I think it might be better there to actually hit the Grammar into the Duke, just to get it into the inkwell. But that's fine. The reason I didn't play Stitch there is because we want to save it for like Rockstar Stitch fuel, so we can kind of just loop together 1-drops and quest for a lot. So it looks like, again, we're just slowly establishing a better board than the opponent. It is annoying that these cards do have like perma evasive because off of each other, but they are only questing 1 and they do only have 1 health each. So you know, I think Robin Hood will be fine to get rid of those. There's a Genie as well, so I'm kind of expecting them to be running the Shiv Genie, because not sure why you'd play this over a different Emerald 2-drop, so that's something to keep in mind. And there's a Maleficent, so they are drawing a fair amount of cards, which isn't too bad. Obviously I can't get rid of these evasives, so they are going to go up to 10. So I can go Eye of Fates, but I'd probably just ink that and then go for this Rockstar Stitch. And then I can just quest with everything. And then we've got 7 quests on board, they've got 4, so if they wanted to race, then we could totally race them here. And even if they quest with this Genie Maleficent, we can just hit Maximus into it, and you know, we can trade up and then we can draw cards with this Rockstar Stitch. I think the only way they can really get rid of it is if they bounce with the on-the-job Genie, which will bounce the Stitch back to my hand, which will be quite annoying, but like I say, we've still got a board to deal with, their board here. So they can play Hans, which is fine. It will quest for free, but we have the units to get rid of it. Especially if we use Maximus to get rid of this Genie, Maximus will have a 1 health, and then it can just uptrade into the Hans, and then it's a solid 2 for 1. Hopefully we can find some more cheaper units here as well to draw some cards off the Rockstar Stitch. Okay, the opponent is attacking into some stuff here. Not sure what that hit is, but like I say, we still are in super low elo. So hopefully in the next episode we kind of get up. I feel like it'll kind of be until Silver where we kind of find some more difficult opponents. So we've seen 2 Stampedes. Oh, we've just seen 1 Stampede. So we've seen 2 opponents with Stampede in their deck, which is quite funny. Okay, so they're just going to quest with the Pascals here, and then, yeah, like I say, I think it's time for us to start drawing cards and cleaning up that board a little bit. Okay, cool, so we got Robin Hood actually. So I'm definitely going to trade this Grammar into the Maleficent, and then I'll go into our Inkwell. And then I will play... I will hit this Maximus into this Genie. And then I will play Stitch, and then you can exert it to draw a card, which I'll get Rapunzel, and then I'll use that Rapunzel, sure enough, to draw 2 cards off of the Maximus. And then I'll play Stitch again, draw another card, get Hades. I'm not going to ink anything because I like both of these cards, but I am going to quest with this Stitch, and if they want to trade everything into it, that's totally fine with me. And then next time we can use this Surfer Stitch, lots of stitches, we can use this Surfer Stitch to draw 2 more cards, and then if they play a big threat, we can just Hades it. Obviously if they play a Cusco, I have a ward, so we can't use the Hades. But yeah, so we can do that, and then we can even go into the Robin Hood and clear up these Pascals, but like I say, they're not too much of a threat at the moment. They're only questing for 1 each, so we're kind of fine with that, and our board is very good. The only way they can really get rid of this Rockstar Stitch is if they trade the Hans into it, and I'm totally fine with them trading the Hans into it, because I know that we have enough like gas to continue going, and if they get rid of this Hans, then I'm not sure how they're going to get the extra 12 quest points that they're going to need, and we've still got quite a wide board. Okay, cool, so they can use Rafiki and Hans, or even Rafiki and both the Pascals, which I'm fine with as well. And then we can just use the Maximus to trade into the Hans if it does quest. We kind of already got the value out of the Rockstar Stitch for like 2 card draws and 2 2/2s is good enough for me, and it quested for free, so he did his job and got us to our next kind of stage in the game. And yeah, cool, so they're going to clear up their evasives for us, so I'm happy with that. And then, like I say, we can just use the Maximus into the Hans, and then we've still got board control basically, and we have enough units to enable the Surfer Stitch to draw some more cards. So that's totally fine. I guess as well, what we could do is we could hit the Rapunzel and one of the 1-cost Stitches into the Hans to trade it, but I think just going 1-for-1 with the Maximus is a little bit better. Or they're going to do nothing, which is also fine. So I definitely will just play the Stitch, draw 2, and we get 2 Rockstar Stitches. We could ink, but I think, yeah, if I ink this Robin Hood now, because they've got rid of the evasives, I can double shift into 2 Rockstar Stitches next turn. And yeah, so I'm not going to quest with these 2. You want to keep them safe for this double shift, and also I am threatening lethal on board. And if they get rid of the Rapunzel and Maximus, then we have like the shift will bring our like potential quest up to like an insane amount, and they probably won't expect it. So there's like 3 off of each of the Rockstar Stitches, so 6, and we've got 7, 8 off of this. So they need to clear our board, which I don't think they have the access to do, especially not with 6 ink. I think the best they can do is probably play like a Genie. And then anything they bounce back with the Genie is kind of fine, because they don't want to bounce back the 1 cost because they're just 1 costs. And yeah, so there's the win, and let's go to the next one. Okay, so just had a game where we DC'd. I'm not going to include DCs in the series just because, you know, I don't want to show you half the game basically. So we do have a turn 3 Mickey, we have Stitch Shift, we have Let Go Hades. So I'm just going to get rid of everything here. But then I'm going to keep the turn 4 Shift in the Mickey. And then, yeah, cool, so I can go, depending on what the opponent's playing, it's okay to do turn 1 Stitch. And I think I'm going to, just because I already have kind of like a turn 2 and 3 already played out. And then if it doesn't go through, then it doesn't go through. We can just do the Rockstar Stitch 1 turn later, and that'll be fine too. So we're against Steel, so they might have Fire the Cannon. Cool, so they have Hook, which is fine. We can definitely ink one of these Robin Hoods. I don't think they're going to have many evasives. We'll go fill the CTs and then we'll just pass. Like I say, we want to protect this Stitch to turn 4. And yeah, so I think I did lose points for the DC, so we were pulled back a little bit there, but yeah, it should be fine. We're against Steel Emerald, which is quite a solid deck to be honest. So I'm going to ink Grammar, and then I'll play Mickey just to ramp 1. And then I will quest with the filler CTs for sure. We don't care about the support because we're not going to do anything. And then basically our kind of game plan against this is to just kind of have board control and kind of outpace the opponent. They're going to try very hard to kind of get an early lead. And if we can deny that, then we shut down their whole deck. And it's important not to hold our expensive cards because they probably have Whole New World. So we don't want to kind of play into that. So Okay, cool, so that's fine. Yeah, we can ink one of these Robin Hoods as well. And next time we'll be at 6, so we can play another Robin Hood. So I'm going to shift into this Rockstar Stitch. And then I am scared of the Townfall Shift ink, and that will hit into my Stitch. So I will just pass here. I don't want to attack into the fling, so I don't want to discard a card. And I want to play Robin Hood this turn because it will give me a card draw off of the opponent having 5 cards, or I guess any amount of cards in their hand which is more than mine, which will allow me to draw a card. Obviously the evasive isn't too much of a big deal because I don't think they will have any evasives in their deck. I don't even think, yeah, I don't think they can have evasives. But yeah, and then turn after that we can go into Stitch and draw some more cards. So always just this kind of like, this loose card draw that we get from the deck is quite good, keeps us going. And if we draw a 1-drop as well, we could even go for like a Rockstar Stitch kind of combo. But we do need to find a way to get rid of this Flynn before it quests for a solid amount. So they're going to ink Hans. I'm assuming they're going to play another Hans, to be honest. Or yeah, the Townfall Shift Tinkerbell, so good thing we didn't quest that, otherwise our Stitch would be dead. Okay, and then we can hit Mickey into Tinkerbell. Okay, they're going to use Grab Your Sword as well to get rid of all of that. I guess that's fine, I'm not too stressed about that, to be honest. And then I can maybe even ink this Robin Hood and play as Maleficent, seems fine. We do miss out on a card draw, but we do have this Stitch to draw cards next turn, provided that they don't have another Grab Your Sword, which if they do, that's not good at all. But yeah, we can just kind of maybe empty our hand and then hit into the Flynn. A Rapunzel top deck would be great. Okay, so of course there's a second Grab Your Sword, so... and a Smash, Jesus Christ, okay. Okay, so I am actually gonna use Let It Go on this Tinkerbell. And then I'm just going to quest for free, and I'll pass. So this is quite an interesting game. Normally the opponent doesn't have a Townfall Shift Tinkerbell to 2 Grab Your Swords, so that's definitely going to buy them a lot of time. And they are going to trade the Flynn, so that saves us discarding a card. And then they're going to go into Cusco. So I'm going to have to ink this Felicities, and now we are just in top deck mode, unfortunately. But we just need to kind of scrape our way back into this game. The opponent's kind of had some very good stuff. Yeah, and they're playing it quite well as well. Hopefully I can find it, just Hades will be good. Oh, okay, Robin Hood's fine as well. That does draw us a card. And as Hades is cool, so I don't mind this trade here. Just because I know that from this point on, even though I'm going to lose this like really expensive Stitch, I have Hades to kind of claw our way back in. And I have Robin Hood to get rid of this Mad Hatter. So they are going to get a card draw, but that's fine. Unfortunately we did miss out on the card draw from the Surfer Stitch and the Rockstar Stitch, and we haven't got Rapunzel. Okay, so they're going to bounce the Robin Hood, which is annoying. Just going to get rid of that Genie. And then I'm not going to ink anything. Unfortunately Hades doesn't have enough attack to one-shot this Mad Hatter. It does have enough attack to one-shot that Hans though. Okay, so they've emptied their hand. So I think we just lose here, unless we can find something good. Yeah, okay, so we're going to lose there. We're just going to get completely aggroed again. We've lost both our games to aggro and then just like kind of having the nuts basically. So there's a second loss of the series, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going second in this one. I think this is technically game 5, but I think it's game 4 for the video. So we've got a lot of uninkables, so we're going to get rid of all those, keep the Flounder. And yeah, I've not been too hot that last game. It's just Emerald doing Emerald things really, and we missed out on a lot of card draw, and they did have some good stuff, so you know we're not going to dwell on it too much. We're against I think people have been calling this lemon and lime. It's kind of the name people have given it. So we kind of want to play around the Rockstar Stitch for this one as well. So if they quest with this, I will definitely be trading them in. And then turn 2 I can go fill the CTs, and then turn 3 I can play Stitch, and then I guess be our guest. Just kind of use up the rest of the ink. So yeah, it's interesting kind of how the meta's kind of come to either playing extreme control or just trying to aggro out the control player before they can do anything. So we don't really need 2 Rockstar Stitches, I don't think. So we can get rid of one of them. Definitely trade these in, and then we'll play our filler CTs. And then if we have to attack, I'll just get rid of this Maximus, I guess. And then yeah, I want to play Stitch on 3, and then turn 4 I can go into Rockstar. And then off of this be our guest, we can hopefully find a cheap unit to draw a card off of the Rockstar Stitch as well on turn 5. I am going to hold this Let It Go though, I don't really want to ink it. I think I'd rather ink this Maximus. Just because I want to get rid of those cards that quest for free. So opponent's going to find another Stitch there. Okay, cool, so they are also threatening a turn 4 Rockstar Stitch shift. So I can play Be Our Guest here. I guess I'll find a 7-cost Stitch. And it's my only form of card draw at the moment, actually. So I think I'll just ink this Maximus. And then play our Stitch, and then I'll quest with the filler CTs. Because I don't mind them hitting anything into it. Hopefully they haven't got the Rockstar Stitch here, because that would be quite detrimental. Especially because we've gone second. If they shifted into Rockstar Stitch on 4, we could just use Let It Go on turn 5, and that'd be fine. It's important ruling as well to know that if they shift a card and you use Let It Go, it'll give them 2 ink, because both of the cards will go into the inkwell. So they're going to use Be Our Guest, so no turn 4 Stitch, so that's good for us. Yeah, but they do find it there, so next turn we can do that. So we can do the Let It Go. Or if they quest with it, I would just kill it with the CTs. Oh, so sorry, it was a visual glitch that they sung the Be Our Guest there, and then it doesn't show that they have the ink, but they do. So that's quite annoying. Turn 4, shift from the opponent. And now I've got to think, do I want to... Yeah, I think I do. I can ink this Maleficent. Maybe it's better to ink this Stitch here, but I want to just keep that card draw in mind. I'll do my own shift, and then I'll just hit into this Flynn, and I'll discard this Mickey. And then what I can do actually is I can sing this Let It Go. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's fine as well. Opponent is on 6 ink now, because I did just give them 2 ink from the Let Go, but I feel like them having 2 ink is better than them having a Rockstar Stitch. And they are going to bounce R1, which is actually fine, because now we can kind of maybe use this 1-cost Stitch as fuel to draw a card, and then we can also get a wider board for our Surface Stitch. I think if I want to ink this Rockstar Stitch actually, and then I can go... So if I ink this Rockstar Stitch now, I can play this Maleficent, and then next turn I can play Stitch and ink whatever I draw, and then I can play the Surface Stitch to draw 2 cards, and then the opponent has 1 card left in hand. So as long as I can find a Robin Hood at some point relatively soon, we're in a really good spot. And the bounce didn't matter too much. We kind of got our utility out of the Rockstar Stitch through singing Let It Go anyway, so that's fine. And the opponent just uses a Rapunzel with no card draw, which is not too good, but we do have to ink this Rapunzel. And then we can play our Stitch, and then we can play our Maleficent quest for free, and then next time we can play a Surface Stitch and draw 2, and then we're right back in the driver's seat of the game. Mad Hatter from the opponent, but I am going to have a card that has 4 attacks, so that's fine. So we can go ahead and ink this Maximus, play Surface Stitch, and now we're back up in the card advantage. So we can just quest like that, and that's fine. I want to keep this 1-cost Stitch alive, because if they do decide to quest for the Rapunzel, we can just go Maleficent and 1-cost Stitch into it. And then yeah, we can just... we could even Hades the... No, so what I'll do is I'll hit the Stitch into Mad Hatter. We'll give them a card draw. We could Hades it to deny a card draw, but if I let them draw 1 and then I can draw 2 off this Rapunzel, then that's fine too. Like I say, I'm just looking for the Robin Hood at this point, so we can definitely ink a Grammar. We don't really need them, they're only for like early ink anyway. And then we can quest with Maleficent. And then actually, I will play this 1 Grammar, and then I'm questing for 9, so if I quest with this Stitch, I'm representing lethal on board. And then they have to react to this board to... They have to deal with this basically. They have to deal with at least this 1-cost Stitch. And then like I said, I do have Hades, they don't have it, so they're going to concede. And yeah, so we made it to Bronze 5 in this video. Let me know if you want these videos to be either like longer, maybe like 10 games an episode, I don't know if that's too many, or if you want it to just be daily. So it'll be double uploads. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.